Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of One Piece anime episode 746, and this one was, I really feel kind of bad not doing the live reaction because there were a lot of things that I forgot were going to be in this week's episode, so many things that really took me by surprise just because I forgot they were at this part of the story. And this was good. This was one of the best episodes I've seen in a good while. The pacing was amazing. The animation was really, really good for One Piece. The animation was surprisingly really, really good for this episode. But, oh man, I just loved this one. I loved every single minute of this one. It wasn't even like with the one I did a reaction to a few weeks back where, I really, really loved the episode, but there were some parts that fell flat. This was on 100% the entire time, and I don't know, it was just so great. Even when we start out, starting from the beginning, we get the Straw Hats are all still partying, having their banquet, and I really love seeing everybody together like this, seeing all the Straw Hat fleet together like that. Sans, the Sanji group that is off doing their thing. Not going to say anything about them, not spoiling anything for those of you that are anime-only watchers, but yeah, man, it was just so good, and one of the first things I noticed, I was the animation this week is not bad at all. And then we have the Law and Robin moment, which again was really, really good, and no, I don't ship Law and Robin, but it was still just a really, really cool scene, and everything looks so good with all the characters. I don't know why this week looked so good. But we cut over to Dressrosa, and we see Dressrosa celebrating and rebuilding. We get the really cool viola dance. We just get a lot of things. We get King Riku mentions the reverie, the frigging reverie. And Leo has them build statues not only of Kiros, rebuild the Kiros statue, but also to build Lucy and God Usopp statues. And oh my, it felt so cool. And we saw Rebecca and Mancherry are friends now, and the Tontada are living among the humans. Everything, it wrapped up Dressrosa so well. Of course, we got the really nice flashback montage last week, but this was a really, really cool way, an epilogue to wrap up Dressrosa. And the thing that I freaked out about, and I wish I did a live reaction just because of how I freaked out about that, is freaking Kaku and CP0 with Rob Lucci and Spandam, seeing them again, seeing them back and their voices, seeing them animated with this style, it was it was crazy because I had completely forgot that would be in this episode. I had forgotten it was at this part of the story. I just it caught me by surprise. I was not expecting to see Kaku, Lucci, and Spandam here. And also seeing that now Spandam works for Lucci instead of the other way around. So it was really, really cool. Also, with the epilogue for Dressrosa stuff, there were a lot of, I guess I could say a lot of still frames used, but it's not about whether you use them or not, it's about how you use them. And it isn't where it's used for padding like a lot of other times. It was used for exposition. So I think that I wouldn't really say that they're a bad thing or discount anything from the episode because of them, because the rest of the episode was so amazing. And even with these still frames, they were used for exposition, so they weren't really used improperly or anything. So Sengoku and Fujitora are transporting Dofi, and I loved seeing those two together. I'm a huge Fujitora fanboy, so very happy to see both of them again. And then Tsuru is talking to Dofi and listening to his speech, and my god, Dofi's speech was one of the best moments we've had we've had a lot of good moments recently for the end of Dressrosa, but holy crap, that speech is it was powerful. I got the chills. The music in the background was so good. And I love the way, too, he rattled his chains and was, laughing through it. It was so cool. And it was powerful too because he's like, I was the linchpin. All these people are sitting there and I'm holding them together, keeping them at bay. And now that you've arrested me, everybody else is going to go wild because they have nothing else to do. There are pirates everywhere, and yet no king of the pirates. So everybody is going to be shooting for that title. There's no need for anyone to stay at peace anymore. And the way he just talked about who's going to be the king of the pirates. Is it going to be a Yonko? Is it going to be a Shichibukai? Is it going to be the navy that takes over the seas, one of the admirals? Is it going to be one of the worst generation? Is it going to be the revolutionaries? And then we see these silhouettes of the 7th Shichibukai, which again I won't spoil. You might really like the reveal when we get it. Probably not too long after the probably not too long after the filler arc that we're going into. But I was personally pretty damn disappointed, but I'm sure a lot of you will probably be a bit hyped. Yeah, yes, maybe. And then we also see a silhouette of Green Bull, Admiral Green Bull, who we do not know anything about yet. I always forget the Japanese name for Green Bull, so forgive me for that. But, yeah, Green Bull is another one I'm really excited to find out about. And a little excited to find out about the other dude that was mentioned with the revolutionary leaders alongside Dragon and Sabo and Ivankov. And the dude sort of had a beard and it looked like a top hat, I think. Maybe it was the dude because we know from the anime that the crows that Sabo rode away on talked to him in a deep manly voice, I think. So maybe that was that dude's voice and that dude can control or turn into crows. I don't know. He can do something like that, maybe. I don't know. But either way, it was cool, the visuals that went along with it. And of course, Dofi's voice actor always delivers a really amazing performance. Everything Dofi says is pretty much gold. So then we get our first introduction of freaking Captain Jack. Seeing Jack in the anime. Again, I forgot that was this episode. I was like, oh, my hype was real. You guys are in for a treat. Jack is an amazing character. He quickly became one of my favorites in all of One Piece, so you're gonna be rightfully excited when you learn more about Jack. He does not put up with shit. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but his personality is something that One Piece needed. Something that severe and angry and you saw that he's oh, Sengoku and Fujitora and all these ships are protecting Dofi. Who do you think I am? Man, Jack is so freaking badass. So I love that. And then also from there, we get to see the Going Luffy Senpai, and we get to see it in greater detail than we did in the manga. I love Chopper's face on the back of it. That was hilarious. I also loved Zoro's reactions to all of it, and he was just completely unimpressed or disappointed at it. All of Zoro's reactions were funny. And of course, we see that even though Luffy and the other main Straw Hat members and Law are now with Bart and the Barto Club, we get a flashback that Bellamy and the other 6 commanders in the Straw Hat fleet have gone their separate ways for now, but they all have Viver cards from Luffy so that they can find him when they need to. And Zoro, reading the paper, notices that their bounties have gone up. So of course we get a new bounty scene with Bartolomeo already has all of their autographs and the wanted posters. So Luffy and Law are both now tied at 500 million berry. They're at 500 million berry. So incredible, and I like that they are the same. Maybe if Luffy was a little bit more than Law, I'd understand, but I think it's really cool seeing them with the same bounty and having one that freaking high. Zoro's bounty has now gone up from 120 million to 320 million, and same with, Frankie's went up to 94 million, Robin's has gone up to 130 million, and Usopp's is no longer Sogeking, it is now God Usopp at 200 million berry. So I am, oh man, that whole scene with Frankie and Usopp was hilarious. And then we find out about the other half of the crew as well. Nami sitting at 66 million. Brook at, 83 million, I believe it is? Yeah, it's 83 million. Because he went up by 50 from 33 million. Then, poor Chopper. He went up from 50 to 100 berry. I hope that one day Chopper gets a real bounty. Like, I feel bad for him. Even though he hasn't really done much post-time skip, I feel bad for Chopper. He needs a real bounty. He was really cool pre-time skip. And then, of course, the biggest is Sanji has increased to 177 million, and his now is no longer a drawing, it's his actual picture, and it is, instead of wanted dead or alive like everybody else, he's wanted only alive. And again, not going to spoil what that means, but you will be finding it out in the future. And I don't know, it's probably hard to avoid spoilers as an anime-only watcher, especially if you are watching people do reviews of the anime, but definitely not going to get spoilery. It's just that that is a very important thing, but I like how even though it's a very important thing, everybody just laughed it off and was like, hey, he probably messed around with somebody's woman, and everybody just started laughing or something. Like, that was pretty funny, the way they just shrugged it off that his was only alive. So then we end with some dude eating some rocks or whatever and like smelting them in his body, like the smelting man, I think is what he's supposed to be. And he, of course, is, I think, going to be our main antagonist for this filler arc we're going into. And I'm pretty hyped for this filler arc. It looks really good, honestly. And I think just about every One Piece filler arc has been really good. So I'm super, super ready. My body is ready for this filler arc. And the animation for him looked really cool too. So I'm hyped for that. I'm also hyped. Next week we're getting a new opening. I don't think the filler arc's honestly going to be that long. It looks like it's only going to be a few episodes. Maybe 3 to 5 at the most. Even less than that maybe though. It doesn't seem like it's going to be very long, honestly. Which, again, I'm totally fine with. It helps pacing a bit. So, totally happy with that. But, like, we're getting a new opening finally next week. So I will be doing a live reaction to the new opening, though sadly, I know that because of the music track, I'm not even going to be able to play the audio without getting stricken, probably. So I'm likely just going to say, like, I'll put my headphones in, be like, I'm starting it now, and then hit the keyboard or whatever if you want to follow along. But yeah, essentially, I'm going to try to do a reaction to it, and if it's not very good, I just won't post it or whatever. But I'm not going to put the video or audio in the video, because I don't want to screw around with copyright and all that. And yeah, just not going to screw around with all that, even if doing it a certain right way is fair use. It's not worth dealing with all of it, you know? So hopefully we can have fun without actually putting the audio in there. Spent too much time talking about that though. So this episode, amazing. The best we've had in a long time. Like, the animation was really high quality and I wasn't expecting it. There was a lot of really exciting stuff that I wasn't expecting. A lot of really good character stuff, interaction wise. And of course, one of the biggest things for me in any work is character interaction. I love that. So this was good for me. I loved the way they ended off Dressrosa with the little epilogue wrap up. I liked the way they teased us for future stuff with Sanji's bounty, with the Doflamingo speech, with a ton of stuff, with CP0 coming in, the mention of Reverie. We got so much content in this one episode, and so much important content as well. Seeing Jack for the first time. So lots and lots of really cool stuff there. So because the pacing and animation and music and character interactions and everything about this was so good, I'm going to give it like a well, not even have to think that much. I'm giving it 10 I always have to think of the thing that I'm going to say here. 10 really well paced episodes out of 10. Like, even though nothing, well, I was going to say nothing massive, like as events happened, I still think it was content filled, But then again, a lot of important stuff did happen. All of the seeing Jack, seeing Goofy's speech, a lot of them, seeing CP0, a lot of important stuff did happen. So yeah, it deserves that 10 out of 10 in my opinion. So like if you guys did like this video, comment down there and tell me what you thought of the episode. I am really curious to know, and what you thought of my review of it. This is pretty hype. This is pretty hype in my opinion. Subscribe for more One Piece, both anime and manga. Tower of God, Walking Dead, Keys Niver, Pokemon, a lot of stuff, Monmusu. So subscribe for any of that. Check out the channel if you want. Follow on Twitter as well. I'll try to keep you updated there as best I can with when I'm posting stuff or pushing stuff back. And yeah, that's it. So thank you one last time for watching this one, and I'll see you all next time.